English dictation, Leipoldt's Cape Cookery, Methods of Cooking. We're on page 25 at the bottom. Dictation. By roasting, comma, by roasting, comma, the Cape Cook did not mean spit roasting, comma, although this method was sometimes employed, comma, especially in the kitchens of the large town houses, where the hearths were big enough to permit the installation of a turning jack or spit. Full stop. Properly speaking, roasting is by exposure of the foodstuff to the direct action of fire, comma, which is tempered, comma, to prevent scorching, comma, by the basting juice, with which the food is constantly wetted. Full stop. This method gives admirable results, comma, and has been a favorite with English cooks, comma, whose roasts have been extolled by all who have tasted them. Full stop. But it is a laborious and expensive method, comma, which demands constant attention on the part of the cook, comma, and the excellence of the results obtained by it depends to a large extent on the quality of the meat. Full stop. At the Cape, beef has never been of prime excellence, comma, and the domestic cook had much more to attend to than to waste time turning the jack and painstakingly dripping basting juice over the joint. Full stop. With meat that was indifferent in quality, comma, an equally good result was obtainable by pot roasting, comma, in which the food was placed in an iron pot, with a heavy iron lid, Full stop. All this was put on the fire, was put on the fire, and live coals, or embers, were heaped on the lid, full stop. Occasionally the lid was lifted, and the food was basted, comma. But as its exuding juice remained in the pot, comma, there was no necessity for a roasting pan, and no reason to fear that it would scorch, full stop. It was subjected to a steady, equable heat, that cooked it nicely, and made even the toughest, goat mutton, tender, full stop. Pot roasting was a popular method of cooking, comma, and was indeed the only method generally used, comma, although oven roasts, comma, in which the meat was baked, comma, were later on more fashionable, and seem to be preferred today, full stop. The pot roast was economical, comma, time saving, and satisfactory, full stop. In course of time, its principle was extended to other methods, comma, of which smooring, spelled S-M-O-O-R-I-N-G, open brackets, literally, comma, smothering, close brackets, close brackets, or stew roasting, was the chief modification, full stop. This is the old-fashioned braising, comma, in which the food was stewed, or braised, by heat applied from above, and below, comma, and was used chiefly for combinations of meat and vegetables, full stop. Breedies, spelt B-R-E-D-I-E-S, breedies, comma, for instance, are always carefully and slowly smothered, hyphen, and the longer this gentle and persuasive manner of cooking is applied, the better and more savory will be the result of the stew, comma, provided care is taken, comma, by frequently shaking the pot, comma, to prevent the contents, from burning, from burning. Full stop.